One of the most fascinating properties of plant reproduction is that it happens in threesomes. A pollen receiver is fertilized by a pollen donor thanks to pollinators which carry the pollen from the donor to the receiver. The pollinated ovules produce seeds. This is typically the image we have in mind when talking about plant reproduction. But plants have other modes of reproduction as well. Some plants, for instance, do not require pollinators to carry their pollen. Instead, their pollen is dispersed through abiotic vectors such as wind or water. Other plants can self-pollinate by using their own pollen to fertilize their own ovules, which can have positive or negative consequences for theirs and the fitness of their offspring. Some plants don't even need to go through the process of pollination in order to make seeds. They can reproduce through apomixis, a process in which an unfertilized ovule develops into a seed. And finally, some plants have decided to undergo the whole hustle of producing flowers, and they reproduce vegetatively through clonal growth. The choice of a mating strategy in plants can reflect in all subsequent life history traits. For instance, choosing an outcrossing or a selfing mating strategy can have an effect on the quality of the offspring as well as its quantity. This can in turn affect population dynamics, phenotypic, and genetic diversity. And this, in turn, can modify the evolutionary potential and trajectories of the population, especially in an environment where new selective pressures occur. This simple choice of a mating strategy can have long-fetched repercussions on the population survival. Ultimately, individual fitness is measured by the number of gene copies successfully transmitted to the offspring. The more copies an individual leaves through its offspring, the higher its fitness would be. But fitness is not only measured as the number of offspring. It is more precisely measured as the number of genetic copies an organism leaves through its offspring. Thus, organisms that reproduce asexually transmit their entire genome to their offspring, which is identical to their parents. Sexually reproducing organisms only transmit half of their genes, the other half coming from their other mating partner. Moreover, sexual reproduction via cross-pollination is risky. Except for self-compatible hermaphrodites, individuals that do not find a suitable mating partner will not be able to reproduce. Self-pollination is a bit more reliable means of sexual reproduction, but even self-pollinating organisms undergo gene recombination, which means that they don't transfer their entire genome to their offspring, but some reshuffled combination. With all these obstacles at every step of the mating process, one can legitimately ask, why do so many plants reproduce sexually? In the following playlist, you will see the advantages and limitations of both sexual and asexual reproduction, the mechanisms of the asexual reproduction, and trade-offs between the two reproductive types.